Welcome to our first edition of the University Series Career Edition for this fall session. We're super happy to have you on today. My name is Karina Riviello. I am the University Liaison at FinTech Cadence. My role is really to help connect with the academic sector for anyone who wants to discover the FinTech world. I know some of you might have already heard of FinTech Cadence before. If it's your first time hearing of us, well, please, I'm here to tell you a bit more. And if you already know who we are, well, please bear with me. I'm so sorry. So FinTech Cadence has been around for a few years now. We are a nonprofit organization, and our mission is really to help develop future FinTech leaders. If you're here, I'm pretty sure you've already heard of FinTech before, and you're curious to know more about this sector. We do this with our three pillars by doing a lot of education, collaboration, and support. So we do have a lot of events and programs throughout the year. In terms of education, we want to get the word out there of what FinTech is, and we do a lot of these events. Sometimes they're panel events, sometimes they're more conference events around FinTech to really get people to know a bit more about what FinTech is. We also have a few support programs where we really help startups, especially early stage startups, get on with their startup. And of course, we work in collaboration with all the actors of the FinTech sector. The FinTech sector is pretty large. We have people from all fields. So we have a lot of corporations, financial institutions, VC firms, of course, startups. We have the academic sector, we have regulatory bodies, and all these nice people have to work together. So we really like to help with the collaboration with these different actors. I mentioned we do have a few programs throughout the year. We are first and foremost an incubator. So we do have incubation programs where we really help startups, especially like I mentioned, early stage startups. One of our most known is the Ascension program, which is a 3-month program where we really help startups get all their business fundamentals together. Of course, like most programs, it ends with a demo day. If you missed the last edition, it's on our YouTube page, and we had 15 amazing startups who presented their startup to us. We also have another incubation program. It's our first time this year. It's called the IFH Lab. It's similar to Ascension, but they're very mission-driven startups. So it's startups who are working mainly on helping Canadian businesses and Canadians have a better financial health. If you're interested in the subject, we will have also a demo day. So the program is a 6-month program. It's finishing in a few months. So keep your eyes open on our social media. We'll be announcing the dates very soon. Formaton pre-incubation program every year. It's essentially a FinTech hackathon. If you're interested in FinTech and you don't know where to start, it's a good way to get into this field. Every year we have corporations and partners who come up with challenges that they see in the FinTech sector. And we have an amazing pool of talent every year that come and try to solve these problems with amazing solutions. So it's a very intensive program. It's only 3 weeks, but it's a very good way to start and get your hands dirty if you want to discover the FinTech sector. Last but not least, if you're not necessarily an entrepreneur, but you want to understand a bit more of the FinTech world, well, we have what we call a certificate. It's a 7-course program where you really go through all the fundamentals of FinTech. We talk about the technology, we talk about global perspectives, we really deep dive into certain aspects of FinTech. So it's a really good starter for those who want to really amp up their level of knowledge around FinTech. Our next our next program is in January. So also keep your eyes open if you're interested in such a program. Events, we do so many during the year of events to get people of the ecosystem together. If you're here, well, you've already heard of the University Series. We kind of vamp up every year the format. So sometimes we do conference around University Series, sometimes our panel events. This year, you might have noticed that we're focusing more on jobs and careers in FinTech. So that's why we're doing our career edition. So thank you so much for being here. I think if you're interested in a career in FinTech, or if you're interested in networking with people that have a career in FinTech, this is the place to be. We also have FinTech drinks. Every 2 or 3 months, we have panel events with high-level speakers who come and talk to us and teach us a bit more about very interesting topics. Our next one is actually next week. So if you're interested in cybersecurity, because that's the theme for this month, hopefully we'll see you next Wednesday. It's a half hour, 1 hour panel, and then we have a networking session. So a bit similar in format to today. FinTech Career Fair, unfortunately, we couldn't do it last year because of COVID, but hopefully if things are going well, we'll have another edition. I don't think I need to explain to you what a FinTech Career Fair is. I'm pretty sure you get the point. And we're also doing kind of to remind FinTech Career Fair, our university series, a bit more around careers. So also a little highlight of the day that I wanted to mention. We decided that we know that a lot of people that come to these events are interested in learning more about FinTech. Our FinTech certificate, unfortunately, is not free, but we decided that we wanted to give a free access to one person that attends our university series. So for anybody who is here today, you are officially entered in this little contest, and we'll be announcing the winner at the end of our series, which happens to be in December. So keep on the watch out. You don't have anything to do. If you're here today, you are part of this little contest. And also a little reminder though, if you come to more than one of these events, you have more than one chance of winning. So just a little fun activity for today. So I know you guys are not here necessarily to hear me talk and blabber about FinTech. You're here to hear more about FinTech professionals. So we're really happy to have 4 amazing professionals today. We have Hélène Henault, Innovation Specialist at EY, Jonathan Brun, Vice President at White Star Capital, Rachid, who is the Senior Product Manager at Buy Properly, a startup, and also Claudio, who is also co-founder and CEO at RQB, another startup. So I think they'll come up one-on-one and tell you a bit more about their career. But first, I also want to maybe talk quickly about the platform. For me, it was a first for AirMeet, so I know that a lot of people are not necessarily familiar with the platform. So maybe just a quick highlight on a few interesting elements about this platform. So first, you have a little section at the top of your screen where you can have speed networking. If you're interested in networking with other participants and you don't necessarily want to go directly to tables and talk with the speakers, feel free to do the speed networking. Super interesting to meet other colleagues and exchange on your experiences. We do have a little chat on the side. You can see there's a section called People. If you go into People, you can see all the other people of the event. You can click on any of these icons and send them a private message. You also have the option of just sending a message to the whole group. So if you want to send messages, feel free to do so. Just a little quick reminder that our speakers will not be taking any questions during their presentation, but if you have questions, I highly recommend you go see them in their rooms after. Talking about those rooms, I think you might see them or have seen them when you got in. And if you haven't, well, you'll see it later on in the session. But we have tables with the different organizations that will be there. So you just have to click on one of the seats and you will appear in the room. If your room is already full, you can go to another room and eventually it will be open. I'll be going around and making sure that there's a sort of shuffle across the rooms. We also have 2 rooms around with FinTech Cadence. If you have any questions, you can go see. We have Nina and Geraldine who will be there with us today, and they're there to answer any questions you might have about FinTech Cadence or about FinTech in general. So feel free to go ask them questions also. So I've said enough. Just a quick word also. Next, we also have another event coming up in 2 weeks, but this time we're focused more around tech jobs. But today we're talking about business jobs, and we have 4 amazing speakers. So the first one is Hélène. So Hélène, I'll invite you to come over with me on stage. Maybe give you a quick overview of what you do and what EY does, and let our audience know a bit more about yourself.
Perfect. Thank you, Karina. Hi, everyone. My name is Hélène Henault. I am part of the National Innovation Team at EY, and I'm passionate about FinTech, hence I'm here today. I guess FinTech Cadence thought I had like a interesting career path so far. So by the end of my bachelor's degree at HEC Montréal, I was working at National Bank, but like looking for something more, like learn more, see more, do more. And consulting really like fit the description of what I was looking for. So like in September, I did the whole like campus recruiting. So if you're into consulting, you're probably in the crunch of it right now. But I did a bunch of interviews and I ended up with a job at EY starting in January. So usually people take like a gap year to travel around Europe, backpack, but I decided to attend as many FinTech events as I could. So for 4 months, I got to know everyone in the community. I met Eric Morin, who is in the room. I met a tiny startup back in the days called Flinks, and I had like a lot of friends there. So when I joined UI, I was kind of focused on like, oh my God, fintech is going to change the world, and I want to be a part of it. So I remember like probably my first weekend, I walked in a partner's office and I was just like, hey, I'm in consulting. I want to do fintech as a major of some sort. And probably in his mind, he was just like kind of laughing because later on the road, I kind of understood that small early stage fintechs cannot really afford like management consulting like us. But he said like, oh, you should reach out to this other partner. You might have like some good opportunities. I did the same speech, knocked on the door, did the same speech, and he said, oh, you could like manage the fintech form. And I later discovered it was like literally the biggest sponsorship EY is doing in Canada every year. So it was quite a roller coaster. Oh, there you go. It was quite a roller coaster of a lot of things to do, a lot of learnings. And for the next 3 years, I kind of had like two jobs. I had my consulting job where I was driving projects essentially at financial institutions, making sure their strategic objectives were met. And on the sideline, I had like everything related to fintech. So I was managing all the sponsorships. I was building partnerships with interesting startups, making sure all of our top leadership was up to date. And then the pandemic happened. And I think every one of us kind of reflected on our job and what do we actually want to do in life. And I had the exact same thinking. And I kind of realized love EY. I think it's the best firm. I do love my job in innovation, in fintech, but maybe the management consulting part was not for me in the long run. So I did quite a bold move when I think about it. But what I did is really like drafting off a business case for EY, saying, hey, you want to be the best in innovation, you want to be at the forefront of innovation when it comes to fintech, but you don't have a person dedicated to that. So I wrote my own job description and I went to like a bunch of different partners, like pitching the ideas. Hey, you should have like someone dedicated to fintech. And I got in front of the right person at the right moment and I got the job in fintech finally after like 4+ years of trying like to mix together consulting and fintech. And now like I'm doing actual like fintech work for EY on a national basis. So if I have like two things that students should know is to be true to yourself. Like having a strong personal branding is essential, especially in the big corporate world. Like everyone knew me as the fintech person before I even got the job. And secondly, something that I don't think I would have listened to, and Nick can probably attest, be patient. I was like very like eager to work in fintech, and what I realized down the road is you learn so much by just doing your own job. And like I wouldn't be as good as I am right now in knowing as much in fintech if I had the job before. So like really enjoy the journey, but stay true to yourself and your goals. That's it. If you want to chat more about EY, consulting, innovation, I'll be at the rooms later on. That's it.
Thank you so much, Hélène. That was a really bold move you did there. So I think it's inspiring for people who are looking to work in the space. Thank you, Hélène. Let's not waste time and let's invite our next guest. So on the list we have Jonathan Brun, who is Vice President at Untitled Chapter. Jonathan, let me tag you. Your screen is all yours because I'm leaving now.
Perfect. Thanks, Karina. So my name is Jonathan. I'm a VP at White Star Capital. Maybe a few words on White Star before, and then afterward I can share a bit about my career journey and how I got there. So White Star is a global VC firm, meaning that our HQ is in New York, but we have offices in Montreal, Toronto, London, Paris, Hong Kong, and Tokyo. And basically what we do is that we're a team of about 20 to 25 professionals looking for startups to invest in across the globe. And so we raise funds every 2 to 3 years and then deploy it in about 20 to 25 startups across the globe. So, usually the deployment phase takes about 2 to 3 years, and our investment horizon is over 10 years. So our job, as amazing as it might sound, is really about, searching for companies, meeting them, and, try to back them and stay invested in them for over 10 years as they kind of build up that vision of becoming, true unicorns or true industry changers. So that's what I do. White Star as a fund is generalist in the sense that we do invest in fintech, and fintech is actually the most represented sector across our three portfolio, with about a third of our investment total being made in fintech. But we also invest in digital health. So some names that might be known are Dialogue here in Canada, are also industrial tech with Vention here in Montreal as well. So that's pretty much it for what I do at White Star. So it's about, first working on thesis, finding, industry trends that you're passionate about, that you think the market's going to move in that direction. We publish, public reports around our views on specific sectors. So I invite everyone to, go on the White Star Medium page if you want. We have 60 to 70 page report on where we see the fintech space going. Our views on the various kind of building block within fintech. Also worked, quite a lot on our AI thesis, which is almost 100-page report that's publicly available if you want to have a look. So that's what we do. We kind of think about where the world and the market is going. Then we meet amazing companies, and we have the chance to have, Rashid and Claudio here, which are, founders and product managers within companies. So this is going to be super interesting for you as well. Then we meet with them, and if there's alignment on the vision and the team and the value prop we can bring and what they try to achieve, then we back them. And that's the story, and that's what I do. Before that, leading into White Star, it wasn't like Hélène for me. Like fintech wasn't really a silver lining I was trying to reach, although that's amazing, and she's created her own job, so that's kudos to her. But for me, I was mostly interested by finance, and so I started in HEC Finance. I joined HEC's investment club called FPHEC, which is basically a fund, student-run fund, where we kind of invest in public market stocks. And I did that, and this is perhaps the first advice I'll give is if you can involve yourself in parascholar kind of activities to meet interesting people and, complement academic learnings with kind of concrete experience, I would encourage you to do so. So I did that. And then through that, I became the portfolio manager of the tech sector portfolio. And this is when I really kind of was introduced to tech as a whole, and I really liked it. So I did my first internship in strategy and M&A at Bell, which was an interesting time because we privatized Bell Alliant at that time, which was a multi-billion-dollar transaction. I was an intern, so I didn't do much, but I saw it from the inside, and I really liked it. And so after I started a career in investment banking at Scotiabank, stayed there for about 5 years, really liked it, really learned a lot, but knew for sure after 3 years that I wanted to transition, 3-4 years that I wanted to transition to VC and have tech as a kind of central element of my career. And so what I did was really build a case for myself to make that transition feasible. And so that's my second advice for you guys as you think about your career, is to kind of act with intent, in the sense that when a role is of interest for you, be sure to be prepared and to build a case for yourself when you go for it. So I recall, small things, but when I was interviewing for IB roles, which are also super competitive roles, I knew, because I had done my research, what kind of restaurants the person I was going to talk to liked, so I could kind of refer to that. I knew what were the questions asked. I prepped myself ahead, and I did the same thing for VC. So I worked with a startup created by friends for almost a year, for free while I was working in IB. I attended Oxford's kind of MOOC courses on fintech, so it's like an 8-week program. I published articles on tech as well. And so when the right opportunity came with White Star, I was able to be kind of fully prepared as a jump board. So that's my journey. Been super fortunate to meet, very smart and helping people at the good time, and very happy with where I am right now. I think White Star is an amazing firm. What we do, it's a joke that's called a job, but that's what we do. And yeah, I'm very happy to talk to any one of you in the chat room afterwards. So please feel free to come. And last small point I'll make is that we will be recruiting for an intern, 6-month internship for a role starting in January. So that's it for me.
Of course, I'll mute. Very exciting, Jonathan. Thank you so much. That was very insightful, and I encourage anyone in the chat right now to go see Jonathan after at the tables. So thank you, Jonathan. Next, we have Rachid from Buy Properly. Rachid, I'm inviting you over. Can you please tell us more about yourself and with your background? Don't forget to unmute yourself, unlike myself.
Absolutely. Thank you, Karina. And hello, everyone. Happy to be a part of this panel today. I'm Rachit Srivastava, Senior Product Manager at Buy Properly. I own everything product and drive key strategic initiatives at Buy Properly. So in terms of my career trajectory, over the last 10 years or so, I've worked in tech and SaaS-based companies across financial services, retail, and e-commerce industries. So I started my career as a tech consultant in supply chain. And from there, I moved to the insurance industry, where I got to work extensively on formulating sales strategy and understanding the key challenges that come along with selling financial and investment products. And from there, I gradually transitioned into a product management role, where I leveraged my prior experience in fintech to create products that address key consumer challenges. And moving on, in 2019, I got to know about Buy Properly when I met Khushbu Jha, the founder, at a networking event. At that time, Buy Properly was more or less in an ideation stage, and I found the concept extremely unique and exciting. And in a way, you can say that Buy Properly was a perfect fit, where I could leverage my prior experience in financial services and product management and create a much needed tech-enabled solution to make real estate investments simple, accessible, and hassle-free for everyone. And so in, I think, January of 2020, we launched Buy Properly as an online platform where investors can purchase fractions of a property by investing as low as $2,500. So basically on our website, in under 7 minutes, users can invest in high growth rental generating properties and earn quarterly dividends and capital appreciation on exit. And our properties are shortlisted using our proprietary AI model, which continuously evaluates over 1.5 million data points to identify the best opportunities that can deliver above average returns. So a bit more about our model. So essentially, the model of Buy Properly kind of opens the door for almost everyone, where through fractional ownership, investors can invest in real estate without having to qualify for a big mortgage or, in fact, come up with a huge down payment either. And additionally, since we manage the properties on behalf of our investors, they also skip the headache that come with day-to-day operations of running the property and finding the tenants, right? And we all know that, soaring real estate prices in many parts of our country have locked countless Canadians out of the housing market. But through our platform, Canadians can now easily invest in a previously kind of, inaccessible asset class. And in the last year and a half, our growth has been spectacular. Our customer base has grown by 5x, and we have recently raised $2 million in pre-seed funding, and we are actively looking to expand operations across Canada. Next month, we also launch our first property in the US. The team is actively growing. We are recruiting across functions, and we are presently looking for product managers, marketing managers, tech developers, as well as interns. And I'll be happy to answer any other questions that you may have about Buy Properly or any of our open roles during the networking session later today.
Thank you so much, Rachid. Super interesting. Buy Properly is a super exciting startup. So if you guys want to know more, Rachid will stay after also in the table. So really recommend you go ask him any more questions you have. Or also, I think you guys hire once in a while. So just a little little tingle there. So thank you, Rachid.
Thank you.
Last but not least, we have Claudio, who is our last speaker. Claudio, I'm the one who's inviting you over. Well, here you go. I'll let you to stage and you can close off on presentations, and then we can go into the fun stuff, aka the networking.
Sure. So good afternoon, all of you, and thank you for inviting me in Tech Cadence. My name is Claudio Romano. I'm the founder and CEO of Orchid Bee. I'm half Italian, half English. I'm 47 years old. I have 2 children, and I live in Montreal. A little bit about my background. I was born and bred in Italy, where I spent 18 years of my life. I then went to university in Bordeaux in France and in Portsmouth in the UK. I've started my career in London at Merrill Lynch in investment banking, where I spent a number of years working in technology projects. I worked in their back office, but I was also a sales trader in my last role, where I was selling pan-European equities to Italian institutions. And in 2001, I got a little bit bored of banking and investment banking and capital markets, where I learned immensely. Merrill Lynch is an exceptional organization with a very broad reach. And I went into management consulting. I felt I wanted to do something a little bit more entrepreneurial, a little bit more hands-on. I didn't really know I wanted to do something entrepreneurial. I just felt I wanted to get involved in transformation projects. So that's when I also moved to Paris for personal reasons. I joined Accenture, and there I sort of fell into the world of consulting. I had no idea what consulting was. I had a friend of mine who happened to have run consulting projects in accounting, and he said, "Why don't you give it a go?" So I got a job with Accenture, and I spent about 4 or 5 years there working on technology transformation projects in financial services. So we were implementing technology core banking systems for very big banks. I worked in investment banking and private banking and retail banking. Some of the projects we worked on were international. Often projects going into tens of millions of dollars worth of change projects. So a change project in a big organization is all about changing an operating model. An operating model is people, processes, technology, it's partnerships, and really getting the organization to move from one way of working and taking it to a new, more innovative way of working with technology. I also worked on merger and integration projects. So I worked on the merger of 2 big Moroccan banks in 2005 in Casablanca, and that gave rise to the biggest bank in the whole of Africa called Attijari Rafa Bank. So I also learned about working across the whole, I'd say, the whole stream of jobs in a bank, and to project manage very complex executions of multi-billion-dollar deals. I also did the opposite. So I've worked on carve-outs, and carve-outs are actually separations of businesses. So I helped Airbus sell 2 aircraft manufacturing facilities in France to some businesses that were looking to specialize in aircraft manufacturing. So those are exceptionally interesting projects where I learned all about effectively what all those different jobs are in companies, and jobs in those types of companies range from engineering. In banking, that's called sometimes technology, but sales, marketing, communications, legal, quality, logistics, supply chain, finance, you name it. We worked across all those different dimensions. And then in 2011, I moved to Switzerland. I was with Deloitte at the time. I went from Accenture to Deloitte. Again, working on similar types of projects where I traveled a bit, merger projects, technology projects. And then in 2012, left consulting and went to work for FIFA rather randomly. It wasn't a choice. I just decided to do something different. And FIFA, for those of you who know football, which is the most loved sport in the world, with I think over 2 billion fans today, does a number of things. They organize the big World Cup that everybody knows about, but they also run compliance on football. And I was asked to help them set up a compliance platform for the transfer of domestic players and international players between football clubs globally, so professional football clubs. So I applied a lot of the technology skills I acquired in management consulting, the project management skills, and we set up a money-making business to help effectively football become more of a cleaner sport with higher levels of compliance. And a lot of what I learned in financial services, I was able to apply to the world of football, which is an incredible industry. It really is, for any of you looking to working in a different industry. So that was that was a very special moment for me. I was, for the first time, in a position of responsibility. I had $5 million to manage, and I effectively had to, well, build a business from scratch with someone else's money and bring in business development experts, hire a technology team, market the product, set up legal contracts with the member associations and the football clubs to sell software as a service ultimately. So I won't go on for too long, but that's my background. What is Orchid B? Orchid B today, I'm very proud of having founded this company in March 2020. We're a finance platform for the self-employed and SMEs. We're looking to launch in Canada next year. We're a fintech company that is looking to really, we hope, revolutionize what we call a back office experience for any entrepreneur. So if you have to start a company today, you'll know that you have to register the company, you have to find a business bank account, you need business insurance, you need payroll, you need accounting, you need tax, you need statutory returns. And all of that is extremely time consuming and can cost up to $50,000 a year if you're running a small business with 20 employees. So we're looking to bring all of those competencies onto one platform, one account, and save our small entrepreneurs up to 60 days a year in admin, which is time we're giving them back to help them develop their products and work with their clients. So we're very excited. We've raised about 150,000 Canadian dollars. We're very early stage. We have a team of 12 people today, which I call believers, because they're all entrepreneurs today working in different fields, from compliance to technology to graphic design to video production to project management. So my role today is really all about making friends, meeting investors like Jonathan, meeting other entrepreneurs like the entrepreneurs that FinTech Cadence works with, but also to work with different advisors. Like, we don't work with EY, but we work with smaller businesses, and really build an ecosystem of people that believe in our brand, to take us then to the next level, which is building our product, bringing our product to clients, bringing alpha testers on board to test our product, and then really scale that by going to market with an initial, what is called a minimum viable product, which is what clients wants to see first, but also investors and future employees. And on that final note, I know, Karina, I'm going well beyond my 5 minutes. We're looking to hire a number of different individuals, ranging from internships to more senior back-end technology developers. We're looking for business development staff. We're looking for people in marketing. We're looking for project managers. We're looking for a whole host of people. Of course, we won't be able to hire them straight away because that also depends on funding. But we've got fantastic plans, and yeah, we're looking to launch in Canada first and then the United States of America. So we're delighted to have been helped by FinTech Cadence, and Montreal is an absolutely amazing place to start a business. I think you're on mute, Karina.
Again. I mean, 1 year of pandemic wasn't enough. I'm still not used to it. Thank you so much, Claudio. I think it was a great explanation. Orchid B, another super interesting startup. If you haven't heard of them, I really recommend you guys go read more and talk to them after. So now is the most important part, in my opinion. So the presentation will finish in just a minute, and all of our presenters will go to their rooms. I invite everyone to go talk to them. They don't bite. They're super friendly. They're there for you, and they want to talk to you guys. So thank you so much, guys, for your presentation. Thank you for all the others for being here. So let the magic begin, and thank you all.